Guys, there's quite a bit today. This one is a little bit longer, but we'll get through it. Hair and nails, okay? So, both hair and nails contain keratin. Alright? Your hair and your nails are like your skin cells, except they've been told to harden, to protect you. Alright? Your nails are there to protect your fingertips, protect you from breaking your bones in your fingers. Alright? Because they are very small. It says they develop from epithelial cells. So we talked about stem cells, correct? You guys remember what stem cells are? Okay, it's things that can become other things. Okay, so epithelial cells are basically the next step after stem cells. Epithelial cells make up your skin. They make up the lining of your mouth, your esophagus, your stomach. Okay, they line body cavities and they line your skin. You take A&P in a couple of years, we'll talk about them in depth, okay? Because we see a stratified squamous, we'll see a simple squamous, which is just one layer cell. We'll see stratified cuboidal, we see all that in A&P, and they're all epithelial cells.
I know some babies are born, a lot of babies are born with either little to none hair, but are babies born with fingernails?
Yeah. It's just for protection. Now, hair will grow out of hair follicles. Alright, so hair follicle is where the root hair grows from. Okay, when you pull hair out, you're not pulling the follicle out with it. You're pulling that root out where it came from the follicle. Okay? Some people think that when you do that, you're destroying your hair follicle. You're not. Okay? Now, if something happens and you get a scar, okay, you can risk removing that hair follicle because it's deep enough in the skin. Right, so right here I have a scar. It actually affects my facial hair when I attempt to grow it out. Right, but that hair follicle is removed, so I have some spots where hair won't grow. If you look closely on the bottom of this eyelid, all right, my shingles got up to my eyelid and almost into my eye. I don't really have a whole lot of hair on the bottom of this eyelid because of it now, because it destroyed these hair follicles. Okay, guys, I'm telling you, when I had my shingles the first time, they misdiagnosed me twice, and I looked like I had rode a motorcycle without a helmet and just drugged on my face, the right side of my face.
What did they misdiagnose you with?
They thought I had a sinus infection at first because I didn't have the blisters yet. I just had a lot of pressure right here. Never had a sinus infection before. And then the next time they thought, oh, you got poison oak, poison ivy, because I was just broken out with blisters. I'm not allergic to poison oak or poison ivy. I worked on a farm all my life and never got me. So it wasn't until about 2 weeks of having it, went to the emergency room because laid on an ice pack all day and swelling was still there. It was not good. Sebaceous glands. Okay, so if you look, your sebaceous glands are right here next to your hair follicle. Your hair will help you release that oil, so that way you guys don't have dry skin. Okay, so some of the functions. So temperature regulation. Cass, what was the word you said earlier? Homeostasis. So go ahead and write that next to it. Alright, so homeostasis is that maintenance of a stable internal environment. We talk about this word a lot. We're going to see this word again and again and again because it's important. So temperature regulation, again, we talked about this. The muscles in your skin cause you to shiver when you're cold. Alright, if you're too hot, start to sweat through your sweat glands. So homeostasis is going to keep you at the temperature you need to stay. Vitamin production. What was the vitamin I've been talking about?
Vitamin D.
Vitamin D. Okay, vitamin D production helps you absorb calcium into your bones. All right, and then it helps you fight depression. Now, this is another reason why as you get older, they tell you to go out for walks to exercise more. Because when you go outside and you're going for a walk, you're getting more sunlight. So it's gonna help you with vitamin D production. All right, and then you need to eat a well-balanced diet so you don't have calcium loss. There's another thing we talk about in A&P. your muscles, and we won't really touch it when we talk about muscles because it's too advanced. But your muscles use a lot of calcium. Your bones are your reservoir, so if you're not getting calcium from your diet, it's going to pull it from your bones. And that's why as you get older, you have osteoporosis. Okay? Weak and brittle bones. It's not good. And then protection and senses. So, protects you from getting sick, and it helps you to have your sense of feeling. So you can sense pain. It's really good. Like I said, pain is a good thing. Pain tells you when something's wrong, right? Does anybody in here know who Tony Dungy is? No? No. No. Close though. Hey Kevin, if you're getting tired, we can stand up, okay? So, Tony Dungy. He used to be a football coach. He coached the Colts when they won the Super Bowl when Peyton Manning was there. He's got a couple books. I've read one of them. And one of the chapters he talks about a son that he has. And when he was born, he didn't cry. And they thought that was really odd. Well, they went and did some tests and they found out that he was born without the gene to feel pain. Okay, so he doesn't feel pain at all. His body doesn't recognize it. It doesn't tell him that. That's a bad thing. Okay, he's telling us one time that his son came home from school, he smelled cookies baking in the oven, and runs in there, opens the oven, and just pulls out the hot pan, and just starts eating the cookies. That's bad, right? I mean, that's not normal. He doesn't feel it, he doesn't know he's hurting himself. Pain tells us when something is wrong, and when we need to get something looked at, right? So our senses, they are incredibly important.
I can't imagine the burns on his hands after cutting.
Or his mouth from eating the hot cookies.
350.
Yep. So, damage to the skin, we're almost there. Alright, it does have the ability to repair itself. This is why you don't pick off scabs. Alright, scabs are a temporary skin portion that allows you to perform mitosis and to replace the skin that you've lost. Okay, and also, it's going to help us fight infections. So when we get a cut, white blood cells are being pushed to there to help us fight off microbes like staph and other things that can cause infections.
What is
Staph is just a bacteria, Staphylococcus aureus. Staph is just short for it. It can cause a host of different types of infections, like sepsis means that you have a blood infection, or if it get the kind that infects your muscles, it's basically going to eat away at your flesh. That's usually what most people get. Essentially, it's like a really bad pimple, and it keeps growing and growing and growing. When I went to training at OCS for the Marines, they said that staph infections were really common. It's just because everyone's around each other. That's why we constantly clean. One of the guys that was going through it again, because he failed the class portions of it the first time, he was telling me that there's a guy that got a staph infection in his foot because you're walking around all day and you get blisters, and that's usually when they get infected. He got it in his foot and he would not go to medical, okay? Because most times when you went to medical, you got sent home. But if it's just a staph infection, they clean it out and give you stuff to fight it off and you're fine. Well, he just let it go so bad that he saw it one day and he told this guy, if you do not go now, you're going to lose your foot, okay? You get a staph infection, go get it taken care of, okay? Cuts and scrapes, okay? So, you lose skin cells, the epidermis will divide and replace those lost or injured cells. Like I said, if you cut yourself and you don't bleed, you didn't hit the dermis, you just cut through the epidermis. But if you are bleeding, it means you went deeper into that dermis. Now bleeding will seal it up. Okay, we'll talk about blood in another chapter. And white blood cells will be pushed there to help fight any type of bacteria.
Do we have a rough estimate on how thick the epidermis is?
I'm not sure, I'd have to look that up. Okay, we got the notes. Okay, a few more slides. So, sun and burns. Alright, so burns, whether caused by the sun or by heat or chemicals, they are classified according to their severity. Okay? Now, I'm sure it's everybody who's had sunburn before. on, you guys have had sunburns before, right? Okay. You ever had a sunburn before? You're lucky.
I can.
You just tan, okay, you don't burn. I wish I had that ability. It's not fun. So, sunburn. After you get a sunburn, what happens later on? Starts to tan and peel, okay? For two reasons. So you peel because it is the outside layer of skin cells that have died. They performed apoptosis because the sun's radiation can mutate your DNA and cause skin cancer. So they kill themselves to protect you. And then two, you tan because when you're darker, when that melanin makes your skin darker, it basically helps reflect back some of that sunlight so you're not getting as much damage. That's why you tan over time. Your body's trying to protect you from something. Okay? Now, we can get burns from heat and chemical, and that's usually what happens with our burns. So we have different degrees of burns. We have first, second, and third. First degree burns, usually redness and swelling, mild pain, so you only damage that outside layer of skin cells. Second degree burns, where you get blisters and a lot of pain. So you've killed cells in the epidermis and you've injured it in the dermis. This is not fun. Has anybody ever had a blister from sunburn or burn? Where at? In your hand, same. So, working on the farm, we were clearing up brush one day, me and this other guy that worked for my aunt and uncle at the time, and he was using a chainsaw. He's going to town on it. And then he turned it off and he thought he was done with the chainsaw and handed it to me. Put it in the truck. I turned around and started walking back towards the brush to help him. And he's like, actually, no, I need that. And instead of turning around and picking it up, I just reached behind me, put my hand right in the muffler that had been going forever, hurt my hand, had a huge blister on my hand. It's not fun. Third degree, you're gonna lose function of the skin. So basically that skin's dead. It's no good anymore. You have to get a transplant. Usually they take it from your butt and put it wherever you have the degree of burn at. You don't have any pain. You don't have any pain because you just killed all those nerve cells. You usually don't get those back. All right. So when you have nerve damage, you don't usually get stuff back. And then skin cancer. Okay. So again, our skin will peel and kill itself to protect you. All right. Otherwise, skin cancer can occur. That's why too much of a good thing can be bad. All right, now there's two main types. There's melanoma and non-melanoma. Ideally, you don't want any, but if you're going to have it, you want non-melanoma. That's why as you get older, you get moles checked, because moles usually turn into skin cancer, but they can just cut them out. All right, most of the time, if you catch it early enough, they can just cut stuff out and you're fine. All right. Sometimes if it's going on long enough, it's too late and they've got to do other stuff to help you get rid of it. All right. Are there any questions?